Hello, California, and welcome to this week's edition of Your Financial Compass, the show that helps you successfully navigate to and through your retirement. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and joining me in the studio are two financial advisors from Bulman Wealth Group. We have Scott Vlahon and Shawn McElmoyl. We've got a great show for you today. We know how overwhelming it can feel to embark upon the retirement planning process. But when you have the right partner, things become much more clear and more manageable. And so what we're going to do today is peel back the curtain, help you see what it's like to work with the team of Bulman Wealth Group to receive your full financial plan and make sure that it's built around your life and your goals. Shawn, Scott, so excited to be here with both of you today. How are you?
I'm good. So Shawn's, his birthday's coming up soon, and he's too modest to mention it, but he was hoping we could spend some time today talking about some of the gifts he wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to review each year of my life. Just share the highlights of each.
Yeah,
each
so
year.
we could fill a couple shows.
We have
with
time.
That.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
So if you could ask or based around that, that'd be helpful.
Right, you too. I never know what you're going to say at the start of the show.
I never
you
know
keep me
what he's
on my
gonna say.
toes.
I
I
don't
know.
either, so,
Well, great to be here with both of you. And I know that's one of the consistent pieces of feedback we get. Folks enjoy the show because it's not your typical financial show, right?
Yeah.
And I would say that that is perfectly correlated to the fact that you guys aren't your typical financial planning firm. You really do a lot of things that set yourselves apart in the best way possible, the way you love and care for, serve the clients that you work with. And I'm excited for more folks to learn about what it's like to work with you. So, Scott, let me start with you. Explain how Bulman Wealth Group can really help someone begin navigating the retirement journey.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, I think there's a misconception that if you've got an investment account, say, or multiple ones, that itself is the plan or a financial plan. It isn't. It is part of the plan, but there's a lot more to it. So a lot of times people will come in and it'll start with a conversation, which Shawn's going to reference a bit more, but we want to really touch on 5 areas. Obviously, one of them is investment management, but the other ones are healthcare planning, tax planning, legacy planning, like do you need a trust? Why? What will that do for your situation? And finally, income planning, because that's generally the biggest concern for folks entering retirement is I don't want to run out of money, and as things are getting more expensive, California is very expensive on its own, that might be the most important thing we do, but the point is we want to look at all 5 of those areas. Not everyone needs help in all 5 areas, but that's where we start, and then we zoom out, look at those areas, then start to zoom in on the things that need a little more attention.
Yes. And that first meeting that you have, you call this a discovery meeting. Again, you don't charge for any of that. Explain what actually happens during that first discovery meeting.
Yeah. Well, we recognize that people, we meet people where they are. I mean, they all have their own journey. Many people we meet with have a current advisor. They're looking for a second opinion. Other people have never worked with an advisor in their entire life. They've just been saving in their investment accounts or retirement accounts. So coming in and talking with a financial advisor, 1, it's a new experience, and 2, it can feel maybe a little intimidating. So we try to make it as comfortable and natural as possible. It's really just an introduction. We ask people to invest time with us before they ever have to think about investing money with us. And it's going to feel like a conversation. Now, Scott, myself, the other advisors at Bulman Wealth Group, in our minds, we're thinking about the 5 parts of the compass that Scott referenced to make sure that we don't miss anything, that we're very thorough and comprehensive. But it's going to feel like just a conversation, learning about each other. We'll learn a lot about you and your goals, what's important to you. We'll also share more about Bulman Wealth Group, the fact that we're a fiduciary, which is really important as you're considering a financial advisor. By law, we're required to always put your interests before our own. We would do it anyways, but it's also an important legal standard that we uphold and we believe very strongly. And really the only decision that you're going to have to make at the end of that conversation is, do we want to have another meeting, another conversation? And we'll talk more about what that second meeting could look like.
Yeah, so that's my next question. What happens after that very first discovery meeting?
Well, we determine, is there a reason for us to have a second meeting? So that, as Shawn was talking about, really that's the only decision we make at the end of the first meeting is, do we want to meet again? Is there a reason for us to sit down and have a second conversation? So let's assume there is. So we put that on the calendar. And between that first and second meeting, there's going to be a few things that we handle. One is we always send, a day after, we'll send a recap email. Like I like to send a recap video. It's usually 3 or 4 minutes. These are the things we talked about. These are the things that you said were important. These are the things that you're concerned about, just so they know we were listening, you know, and we kind of paraphrase it back to them. Then another thing is you'll have a little bit of homework per se, is we'll have them take a risk quiz. Everyone they think they have a grasp on what their risk tolerance is when it comes to investing, but a lot of times they don't. So we'll have them take this quiz. It'll take 5-10 minutes. But it'll assign them a risk number. And in the meantime, we'll take their current investments, say 401ks, what have you, and we'll run a risk analysis of it. So we're going to take, and you can see this email below. If you want to go take the risk quiz now, by all means, click on this link or write this down, scan the QR code, and you can do it. But that helps us begin to find out, is their tolerance of what they're comfortable with their investments in terms of risk, is it congruent with how they're currently set up? A lot of times it's not, and we'd rather find that out early than have them continue to going, if maybe they're being too aggressive, too conservative, and then those are some of the things that we'll begin, tackling in that second conversation.
Okay, and gathering of information. I know one of the objections I've heard sometimes from folks is, well, I don't know what questions they're going to ask me. I don't know what information to bring, and I don't know what they're going to do with the information I give them. So what would you say to help put someone's mind at ease as you explain why you're gathering the information you're gathering and then what you do with it?
Well, one, their privacy and confidentiality is of the utmost importance. We take that extremely seriously, and it's part of being a fiduciary as well, is how we guard and protect that information, personal information. But we put a lot of thought and careful analysis into everything they've told us. Then when they do come back, what we realize is that people are visual. We're all visual learners, right? Yeah. And so we create a draft financial plan, and we use it to have another conversation. What we found is that in many cases, this draft financial plan is the first time anyone has ever seen all their financial aspects of their life pulled together in a nice visual plan. And we use that to share some high-level observations and recommendations for them, that these are some things that they should consider. And if we were to work together, these are some of the things that we would work on, problems we would solve, opportunities we would take advantage of. At the end of the day, if people don't become a client right away, we can almost be certain that they're going to come away with something very valuable.
I was going to say, just that alone, right? Having that independent analysis done and being able to say, okay, these are some areas that could be improved upon. Here's what we would do. That's your fiduciary responsibility, is to present recommendations, but it's that person's decision at the end of the day what they want to do beyond that, right?
Oh, yeah. And Shawn and I, if there's a reason for us to work together, we would want that, but we can be selective too. This is a two-way street. We want to work with people that we like, that we trust, that we feel like we can help, and the feeling must be mutual. So we're not the hard sell guys. That no one wants that, especially in 2025. So if you're sitting here watching this and maybe you have an advisor and you've never sat down to see how the pieces fit together, I would ask, why hasn't your advisor done that? Do you know what fee you're paying? A lot of times people come and ask, well, what's your fee? And I'll answer and I'll say, what is the current fee you're paying? Well, I don't know. Has that ever been discussed? Are they kind of, trying to sneak that one by you? Or you just don't even know where to begin. You can call the number below. You can scan the QR code. And it all starts, as Shawn was saying, with a conversation. We'd love to have that conversation with you to begin to find out if there's value we can provide and some clarity, and know that there's a group willing to walk with you through these next stages of your, hopefully of your retirement that will last as long as you're around.
Awesome. Well, Scott, Shawn, thank you so much. I know we've got a lot more to get to on today's episode, but that was a very wonderfully stated explanation of really what this process is. And again, this is why we talk each week about the benefits of coming in and receiving a complimentary financial compass review. Again, this is for no cost, no charge, no obligation. It's simply an invitation to have a conversation to see how the team of Bulman Wealth Group can help and serve you. And you can schedule yours today by either calling 888-970-4685, or if you'd rather connect online, simply scan that QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and that will get you connected as well. When we come back, what's the next stage of this process? After the discovery meeting, how does the team go about building a customized, personalized plan for you? We'll get into that when we come back.
The team at Bulman Wealth Group is exceptional, from our advisor team to our service team, which is, I think, second to none. But it all revolves around the idea that our clients are vitally important.
One of the ways I feel like we differentiate ourselves is we want a relationship with our clients. And I really learned that from Chris. Is there's so many dollars and cents and all this information to know, but at the end of the day, it's got to be a trust and a like, because we're partnering with somebody. So I want them to think a trip to see me is not a trip to the DMV or to the dentist, but it's just being able to share in the good times and be available to be a resource in the bad times too.
Our clients are our friends. I really view them as part of our family because we go through some pretty significant life events. So it's really being a partner with our clients through all those life events and through the life journey.
As Americans, we strive for better. Better house, better career, to better the lives of our kids. Better's become the American way. But when it comes to your retirement, what does better mean to you? More income, flexible lifestyle, better solutions? A better retirement begins with a plan. To get your complimentary written financial plan, call the number you see here. You only retire once. This is your opportunity. Plan for better.
Welcome back. You're watching Your Financial Compass. I'm Kristen Oakley here with both Scott and Shawn from Bulman Wealth Group, and we are so glad that you're joining us today. If you're just tuning in, we are peeling back the curtain behind the scenes, helping you know what steps are involved in this process of building a comprehensive holistic financial plan for yourself. And you guys did such a great job of explaining what we refer to as the discovery phase, right? Where you're meeting with folks, you're understanding what their questions, their concerns are, and then you're gathering information. We need to now talk about the next phase, the implementation process. So let's say someone does call into the show, they schedule their time to receive that complimentary financial compass review. They come in, they have that initial discovery meeting, you gather the necessary information. What happens next?
We just ignore them and move on with their lives.
No, that's not what happens.
So say we sit down again and as we were saying earlier, we have them take the risk quiz, and that'll assign a number from 1 to 99. 99 means we're going to the casino later. 1 means it's buried in my mom's backyard because she's like a 5 on the risk scale, or any number in between to kind of get a gauge of what their comfort level is. And then we'll have run the same analysis on their current investments. And when we're having that second conversation, that's kind of where we start of, hey, this is what your tolerance is. Does this sound accurate? And we start to see numbers like, would you be willing to lose this much to gain this much? And you can kind of zoom in a little bit more and have that discussion. Then pull up their current investments, maybe with their current advisor, maybe it's something they've done on their own, and see what the risk number is with it. Are we taking enough risk to get the growth we need? Are we not, are we taking too much? And really begin to find out of what maybe potential tweaks could be made. We're not going to come out with a sheet of paper and say, if you choose us, here's the investments we're going to use. We always say this, we're an independent fiduciary. We have access to all the different tools, stocks, funds, what have you, annuities. So we're not going to come in and say, choose us because here's what you get. We start to have the philosophical discussion on maybe these are the tweaks to be made, and then it starts to blend into, I'm sure what Shawn's going to talk about, but starting there of, are we in alignment with our investments and what our comfort level is and our goals with that?
Right. And I think that's the key, right, is helping folks get aligned. Because I know you probably see this a lot where folks come to you and they are completely misaligned, meaning their money isn't matching with what their values are or their goals are for retirement, right?
Right. Well, risk is such an important part of the conversation. there's different types of returns. There's the returns we want. We all want the greatest, biggest returns. And then there's the rate of return you need to accomplish your goals. And you don't want to take more risk than you need to take. And in some cases, you need to take a little bit more, accept a little more volatility to have the retirement you want.
Right.
We also recognize that, again, going back to, we're very visual, and we try to take complicated investment topics. We do this every day, all day long, but we recognize that our clients don't live in this every day. And so we find ways to help educate investment ideas and topics that are easy to understand. One way is we use this bucket strategy, and it's this idea of organizing your money into three different buckets: safety bucket, income bucket, and the growth bucket. Because a lot of times people think, oh my God, I have all my money exposed to all this risk.
Right.
And what we can do is compartmentalize their money to the appropriate risk with the appropriate objective. And it just puts people at ease that they now understand every account, every investment, what it's designed to do, what risk they're taking. And I think that clarity gives people so much more confidence to move forward.
Yeah, for sure. Now, it's interesting because we've talked a lot about risk tolerance and assessing that. And even you had your quiz earlier, which there it is on the bottom of the screen. We invite you to visit bwgriskquiz.com. You can also get there by clicking that QR code. It will only take you a couple minutes to complete, but it will give you an idea of where you stand from a risk perspective. But I know one of my personal frustrations with this industry, I'm sure it's frustrating for you guys as well, is risk assessments tend to kind of pigeonhole people, right? Or label them is a better way to say it. Okay, are you this? Are you that? It's not a very customized thing initially, but you guys build customized, individualized plans. So talk about that, because I think that a lot of firms out there just say, oh, well, you're moderate, then you need to be in this portfolio. You're aggressive, well, then this is the one that we're going to put you in, without the customization. But that's not how you guys do things. So explain the difference.
No, and part of our discussion when we're talking about the results of the risk quiz, we say we just use this as a frame of reference. Then we can start to zoom in, because you can kind of talk further about what we found out, and does this sound right? No, I think I'm more open to risk. And then you can kind of start to customize, but it also works in relation to, as Shawn was saying, we're starting to build out a first draft of a retirement income plan. And a lot of times people say, the whole cookie cutter aspect, no one wants that. That doesn't help anybody. And another thing too with a plan, when it's customized to that person, one of the liberating things that I've found for folks is most people don't need to take as much risk as they feel like, as they think they have to in retirement. If you saved well, you've got some good, disciplined spending habits, a lot of times we don't need to earn these crazy amounts on our investments, which is always nice. But as Shawn said a minute ago, why do we take more risk than we have to? But the point is it is customizable. And when you start a plan, the plans change. 6 months later, it could be totally different. 6 minutes later, once they leave, the plans change. So we're always having to have the plan change with that person. So you don't just set it once and come back in a few years, hope you're still on course. That's something we want to keep, it's like a living thing. We need to keep curating it to make sure it's still in alignment with that person. And it is just nice to see. And I said this earlier, if your advisor's not doing this, why not?
Yes.
Like legitimately, there's no good answer why they wouldn't be.
Right, for sure. And I appreciate that you guys really do look at the individual. There's no two plans you create that are alike, because no two people are alike. No two retirements are alike, right? And I know that you said at the end of the first meeting, the only decision that is there is, should we have a second meeting? Does it make sense? What happens, what decisions are typically made at the end of that implementation meeting, that second time that somebody comes in?
Well, now people have spent a good 2-3 hours with us. We've done a lot of work, analysis amongst the team. We've shared our observations and recommendations. We've shared a draft financial plan, which in many cases is the first time anyone's seen that. We may have demonstrated how the 3-bucket strategy could really be applied to their situation to give them more clarity and confidence. Now people generally have enough information to make a decision. Do they want to work with us, and do we want to work with them? And once they decide, yes, let's move forward, then it's really easy to hire us. We open up accounts for them at Fidelity or Schwab. They're the custodians. I think that's an important distinction too, because we don't hold the money at Bulman Wealth Group. The money is held at at a custodian of Fidelity or Schwab. The money is held there. Then we do a transfer of the accounts into their new accounts here with Fidelity or Schwab. And we do that as is or in kind. So we don't make any changes. We don't sell anything. And once the accounts are here, the investments are here, then we have another meeting, which we'll talk a little bit about, where then we go deeper into the investment strategy to implement the financial plan.
Yeah. I mean, I'm blown away by the level of commitment that you exude to each and every person that comes in and seeks your advice. And what's interesting is a lot of firms out there charge easily a couple $1,000s for this level of planning, right? You are, up until someone decides they want to work with you, you haven't made a dime off of this. Explain that difference, because I think that really does set you guys apart.
I think it helps someone enter these first two meetings with us without thinking about it in the back of their head, like, gosh, I'm paying for this, or it kind of removes that element of pressure, I feel like. It's just like, hey, look, we're trying to show you in 2 to 3 hours why we might be a good fit. And here's the things that we can do. Then, at the end of that meeting is, you should have a good feel. Like, we are who we are. We're not trying to hide anything. There's no bait and switch. And, then we discuss, okay, what's next? We're going to work together. Here's our fee structure. Here's your fee structure. No one's under a contract with us. So it's like, well, you need to stay a year, 2 years, 5 years. Obviously, we want to work with our clients forever.
Long term, right.
But you're not signing your life away. So I think that removes some of the pressure too. But hopefully it's not a hard decision for them. But there's decisions on both sides. We have to be selective on who we work with too, because we want it to be a mutual trust and respect.
And to be a great fit.
Yeah.
Wow. And there's so much value that you provide in these first few meetings. So I'm excited for more folks to connect with you as a result of this conversation. So if this is resonating with you, or like Scott and Shawn said, so many folks that reach out to them, you might already be working with another financial advisor. But there is such value in getting a second opinion and seeing if you're on track to reach your goals, or where might you be able to make some tweaks, because the advisor that got you here may not be the right partner to continue you through retirement. So we encourage you to reach out and schedule your complimentary financial compass review today. You can do so by calling 888-970-4685, or again, by scanning that QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. We'll be back with more right after this.
Successful retirement to me is someone who doesn't have to worry about where their next paycheck's going to come from, where the income's going to come from. Are they going to run out of income? Are they going to run out of money? Are they going to meet their financial goals with respect to maybe they want to leave money to their children? Maybe they want to leave money to a philanthropy or a university.
Being able to wake up and know the day's an open slate and not having to worry about things. Or say someone's going on a trip with family, they're going to the beach, and if the headline says, the market's down again or something, they're not concerned. Bulman Wealth has my back here. We've got a plan in place. My portfolio is set up in a way that concern is not there.
All the pieces fit together like a puzzle. When that all fits together and you can see the peace of mind that gives families, that is a successful retirement.
You've spent a lifetime building your wealth, but without an estate plan, the future of your assets may be uncertain. It's not just about having a will, it's about protecting what you've built and making sure it ends up in the right hands with minimal stress for your loved ones. Our estate planning readiness quiz helps you quickly assess whether you're prepared from a legacy standpoint. It's fast, free, and it highlights where you may need to take action. Scan the QR code on the screen or visit bwglegacyquiz.com to take the quiz today.
Welcome back to Your Financial Compass, where today we've been peeling back the curtain and sharing with you the process of what goes into working with the team of Bulman Wealth Group. From the moment you call into the show and schedule your complimentary financial compass review, what happens from that point moving forward. So now we want to share with you what it's like to become a client of Bulman Wealth Group. And I know you make the process really simple and easy. Of course, we've talked about the different things that lead up to that phase of the process. Explain what will happen next.
One of the things is that they'll start to meet the rest of our team. Obviously, it's not just Shawn and I. I mean, we've got 16, 17 people. So there's other people that they will get to know that will be a part of the process. And I think it's fun to know, like, hey, there's all these other resources. So you get to know those people like the Kayleys, Sarahs, Zane, what have you. And at the same time, once you become a client, the sake of ease element of seeing all your accounts in one place, I think there's a certain peace of mind of that. So we have what we call our Bulman Wealth Group portal that you'll get invited to, you'll have access to, is that any of the accounts that we manage will live there, so you can log in and see it. And then even accounts that are held away, bank accounts, maybe your current 401k, as long as it has a username and login, like digitally, we can add it to the portal. So legitimately, you could log in and see everything, your net worth as it's changing. And it's just kind of fun to really trim the fat and say, I can log in at any point and see where I'm at, how I'm doing, how I'm invested, the different statements of the different investments I have. So I think that's a nice kind of intro as they be, just trying to lay out that path ahead of them.
For sure. Well, one of the things that always blows me away, and I hear this a lot, I know you probably have too, for a lot of folks who are used to working with a large corporate firm, they often feel disconnected from their advisors. They're not communicated with. They don't know what's going on. How do you guys do that differently? How do you stay connected and communicate with your clients?
Well, we found a lot of people are working with firms or advisors that are just so focused on the investments. They're not really looking holistically at the entire family, the life, the future events that are going on. So we take the word proactive communication very seriously. Keyword proactive, especially during the first 90 days of being a client. That's really an important time, not only to meet the team. We have such a fantastic operations and client service team that Scott referenced. You're going to meet those, but we're going to make sure that you understand your statements. You fully understand the financial plan, the investment plan, your income plan. You understand what you have and why you have it. You're able to get online and view everything. You understand your statements. But we're also on retainer now because we have this ongoing relationship. It's not a transaction. We're on retainer. If you in the middle of the night have a question, oh my gosh, should we buy a new car or lease it?
They can call Shawn in the middle of the night and wake him up.
We can run the plan and give them the best information to make the best decision.
I love that so much. And I know how committed you all are to these long-lasting relationships that you build with your clients and to doing life with folks to and through their retirement. So Scott, Shawn, thank you so much. And thank you for watching. If that's a journey you would like to start today, we encourage you to reach out and schedule your complimentary Financial Compass review. 888-970-4685 is the number to call. Thanks so much for watching, and we look forward to being back with you next time here on Your Financial Compass.